The two main problems most beginners face as adult learners is one, you're getting caught up in the sheet music. Two, you're not playing along with the song. And I'm going to show you how to solve both those problems so you can start having fun and enjoying playing your guitar. And over the past 10 years, helping adults in small group classes, there's a third problem that pops up, and this one really impacts the way that you practice and therefore the results that you get. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to help you solve that problem too. All right, let's go. All right, problem one, getting caught up on sheet music. Now I see this prevalent with my own students, and we could have been playing this song for months and they're still stuck on the chord sheet, thinking that it might change. Or and this even happens if I write the chords up on the whiteboard and everybody looks at that and stares at it as if it's going to change or something drastic is going to happen. All right, the truth is, if you're doing that, what's not happening is the biggest problems, because what's not happening is you're not watching what your hands are doing. All right, so you're too focused on the notes and therefore not on the things that make the music move. All right, and that's good hand position, good technique, playing the chords correctly, changing the chords. All those things really help develop your muscle memory so you can look around and not want to play. See, most people think, how long before I can play without looking at my hands? Well, step number one is you've got to get off the sheet, okay? And then onto your hands, because it doesn't matter. Everything that we've learned in life, we've watched what we've had to do. So anything from picking up a tennis ball to driving your car is always, where's the hands got to go before you learn it, before it comes muscle memory, all right? It's really, really important because that part can be neglected. And simple things like having your fingers way back over the other side of the fret area instead of up close to playing just behind the fret. And if you're focused on the music in front of you, you're not noticing these little things that impact the way your guitar sounds, all right? So get off that sheet and focus on what you got to do on both hands. Spend some time with that, all right? How do you do that? Quite simple. Take it in small chunks. Learn 2 chords at a time. Put that in your memory and then focus on what you got to do. Spend time on learning what the hands must do, because as a beginner, that's our starting block. It's our foundation. And if we don't have that, we're going to keep reinforcing those bad habits over and over and over again, and it'll be years down the track and you're still wondering why you can't change your chords properly, but you can't even remember how to play a song without the sheet there, but as long as the sheet there, you're happy, all right? But this is more important over here, all right? So work that over and over. Test yourself. Take a little bit of information. Test yourself, all right? Turn the sheet over. Turn off the computer. Whatever it may be, just test yourself to play without looking at the sheet. And what else is happening when you're focused on that sheet music is you're not listening to how everything is meant to sound. All right, so we're not developing the proper muscle memory, or we're reinforcing the bad stuff, but we're also not listening to how things are meant to sound. All right, quite often we can get caught up strumming not enough strings, or just the bass strings or the treble strings. All right, you might be hitting the wrong note of the chord because you're so focused on what you have to play, you're neglecting what makes the sound good. All right, so really important to focus on the quality of the chords that you're playing, the quality of the strumming that you're doing, so it sounds effortless, but it sounds dynamic. All right, get that down, go with that, because think of it this way. What's more important? When you learn to drive, yes, you got to look where your hands are going, but the most important thing of when you learn to drive is you focus on the road. All right, so we need to focus on this area here. Get to know this area intimately, and then we can start looking away from that. But if you're stuck in one place there, stuck up on a board, computer screen, you're not paying attention to the most important thing. All right, we need to know the fretboard and what we got to do to move around that. Problem number 2, not playing along with the song. So once you know what you got to play without having to look at the sheet or know what these hands have got to do, you got to turn your attention to how you can be accountable to see how you fit in, not necessarily with a band, but with other musicians, or by playing along with the song, that can be a band or other musicians. All right, and what this helps you refine is any rhythm or timing issues that you may have, or are you playing everything the way it's meant to play it? For example, I had a student come in for an intro session once, and he could play this Bowie song. I said, so great, let's hear it. So he pulls out his book and he starts playing along, he starts playing this Bowie song. All right, and it sounded great. I said, so when you practice, do you practice along with the song? He goes, no, I never have. All right, I said, well, let's try that. So we put the song on and he's playing along, and he didn't realize, because I heard something before that, so that's why I suggested putting the song on. But he didn't realize he was playing 2 measures extra that weren't even in that section of the song. He just didn't realize. That's the way he always played it. He had no idea, even though he loved that song, he loved Bowie, but it was eye-opening for him, all right? So we just immediately cut those 2 measures out. They didn't need to be there, and he was a lot more happier. So you need to play along with the song, not straight away, right? You got to learn what you got to learn first without any distraction. But then playing along, locking in with the drums there, and really working on your timing, because like, even if you only got to be playing it at home on your own and you're going to have friends or family listening maybe, hey, they're going to notice something is not right if your timing is all over the place, all right? They may not pick up what it is, but they'll sense there's something, right? And you're going to have a lot more enjoyment out of it too. And plus, guess what? You're going to be a lot more confident, so you can look around, enjoy, connect with those people, all right, as you're playing your song. But your timing's got to be all over the place if you don't have at least a metronome or a drum pattern there. My recommendation is play along with the song, all right? There's lots of song learning apps out there that you can get. A tool like Jam Zone. It's a great tool where you can focus on one particular area of the song at a time. You get to slow it down at a tempo that suits you, and you can start working it slowly without being overwhelmed or stressed out. Because let's pretend for a moment that you want to learn a dance routine, all right? Crazy as that may be. But like, yes, you can learn the parts on your own and get all the moves going, but like, you ultimately, you really want to be in sync with the music, and you're not going to be able to get that timing right exactly without having that music there to play against. All right, same thing with the guitar. When you're learning songs, learn and then practice them with the song on, and it's going to help you play and advance so much quicker. All right, the third problem I see facing most beginner adult learners is you're taking in too much information at once. All right, the brain can only handle so much information before it goes into overwhelm or sort of blanks out. So when you're practicing something, what you want to do is don't try and learn the whole song or the whole section of the song. Learn it in bite-sized chunks. All right, so we chunk it down, we play it slow, and do repetitions on that. I was just helping a student, Nam, to play through the strumming pattern for Sister Golden Hair. And he's working on his bar chords at the same time. And like, he was getting a good grasp on it, like getting the strumming pattern down. And then I said, just play me that again. And when we really sat and listened, there was no proper sound coming from the bar chord. He was still not getting the pressure down. And I complimented him, on what he could do so far, but I put the song on and set it at the tempo he'd been practicing at home, and I said, what I want you to do now is cut things out. All right, so instead of doing the strumming pattern, what I want you to do is focus on getting that chord exactly how it should sound. All right, so and I got him just to do a single strum, so he's just like that along with the music. I want that done. Like, he could play the strum pattern. He could play the strum pattern, no problem. But like, he wasn't getting this these chords sounding right, and that was letting everything down that he was already doing. Okay, so by just cutting him back to a single strum allowed him more time to focus on the actual sound and quality of the chords. All right, something we alluded to earlier. All right, and then from there, once he was starting to get that, I said, okay, we'll just try it again, but this time we're going to add a strum on every beat, just like that. But what we found is he couldn't, it was still too much. So we took the tempo down this time a little bit. And it wasn't going by so quick, but he was able to get it. So when you're practicing, or even like if you're learning off the sheet, you're taking in way too much information. It's visually overstimulating, overwhelming. So chunk it down. Take 4 measures of the song, right? Whatever those chords are, and just work that over and over again, and looking at your hands, not on the sheet, and really focusing on the quality of the sound, because your practice is going to be impacted if you don't chunk it down, play it slow, and repetitions. Okay, it's as simple as that. So do that, and you'll find that you're playing, you'll have a lot more freedom, a lot more enjoyment, and everything you play will sound so much better. And if you would like help overcoming these playing issues in a very methodical, fun way even, I invite you to do just that in my Campfire Guitar Superstars community. It's a free community. It's all just adult beginners starting out, people who want to play along songs around the campfire. Okay, and I can get in there and help you overcome your playing issues. We learn some songs. You can get on weekly calls. I can give you feedback and on your playing, help you overcome those little niggling things, and we can get past those areas so you can start playing with more freedom, more fun. All right, because you can look around YouTube and you'll find lots of stuff to learn. That's never an issue. There's so much information out there for you, but what the internet doesn't provide is the accountability and the personalized support that you need. And that's why I created Campfire Guitar Superstars, this community, to do just that. It's not a Facebook group, it's way more private than that. And so we're off all social media and we're just focusing on guitar, right? Getting you to play songs for fun around the campfire, at parties, or wherever you may be with your guitar and having fun with your friends. And you can do that by just following this link here, and go and check the community out. I'd love to see you in there. And honestly, if you want help playing songs, and a simple 4-chord song like Tom Petty's I Won't Back Down, I've laid it all out here. I've broken everything down, how I teach a song, so you can see how I do it, and then that's the information you're going to get in Campfire Guitar Superstars. All right, folks, until the next one, thank you. I'll see you soon.